Okay, here we are again then. Been a little while, hasn't it, since we did our last chat?
It has. It
Okay,
has. What's pushed your buttons this week, Penny?
so I know we were talking about this ages ago, but the picture, we can talk about the picture, can't we? The picture with the horse that's got, I don't know what it is. What is it? It's like a thing on its head that the
A
person,
Christmas outfit. Should we just say a Christmas outfit? Is that the one we're talking about, or were we
yeah,
talking?
I think with
Yeah,
the horse is wearing a hat. It's called
yeah,
wearing a hat, isn't it?
yeah,
because because the horse spooked at the whatever it was. It could have been a sheet. It could have been, I don't really know what it was, because once it was tied on the horse's head, and the picture was taken, it became, I don't know. It could have been anything, couldn't it?
yeah.
And the caption was, you'll probably remember this as well. If you spook at it, you wear it, or something.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes, you know which one
Yeah,
it was.
yeah,
So actually, that reappeared this week on
yeah,
Facebook.
yeah,
So it
yeah.
seems to be a popular thing, but then we know it's a popular thing, don't we? How
Mate,
is it?
do you want to die? Is the first thing.
Yeah,
Um, and do you want your horse to ever actually trust you again?
mm, exactly. And the changes to the brain, so that what is actually going to happen, which these complete morons don't understand, is the horse is going to become more sensitized to things like that than the horse would have been if you'd have gone, never mind, we'll move on, we'll go and do something else. So,
It'll be on high alert,
yes,
constant high
exactly.
alert. And I suppose the thing is that it, yeah, you can. It's always the thing with desensitizing. It's like, and I used to get it with people with jumping. Oh, my horse doesn't like water trays or
Mm,
blue fences or whatever, and it was always like, that's fine. You can train over that fence and you can practice that particular fence, but unless you get the trust,
yeah,
then going to be yellow fences, or it's then going to be um I don't know, fences with a bush next to it, or whatever. You can't desensitize to everything. And I think there's a lovely quote somewhere, again floating around the internet, and it says something like, if you train your horse by fear, there will always be something that he fears more than you. Is that the one?
yeah, I know the one you mean, but I can't remember how it's written.
Yeah. If you train him by trust, oh, I don't know, but yeah, you get the gist. It's
And the other thing is, whatever that person does at home with the water tray or the particular jump or the whatever it is, the brush, which is always a thing, isn't it?
mm.
Because that's trained at home doesn't mean that's generalized to the school down the road or the place you're going to compete at.
But actually, I mean, from my eyes, it's actually a bit of nonsense anyway. Oh, hello. Because you know you can't train where the sun is, and I mean, in a jumping perspective, you can't train where the shadows are, or when the sun is shining on the white fences shining back. I think is the contrast, isn't it, that they see most.
Yeah,
um and you can't train. I remember having a sticky moment at Croxted many years ago, where the
it was a
sun was shining through the
yeah,
skylight, and I think it literally, as Vinny took off, I think the sun came out, and where he had to land was like, all of a sudden there was a great big white square on the floor. And that's a difficult thing. And yeah, it was, whatever happened, he barked or
yeah.
spooked, or something happened which you would sort of expect, really. But um yeah, you can't. That's the point, is you can't train, you can't desensitized for everything. So actually, you're almost better off not trying, aren't you?
So this is the whole thing, isn't it? If your horse trusts you, they might say, I don't really like the look of that. But if you say, you know what, it's fine. If you haven't done anything aversive, the horse is going to go, okay, I'll give it a go then, which is never going to happen if your horse is wearing that hat that he spooked at 2 seconds ago and wrapped around his head.
Mm.
And, so that whole generalization, which is pretty much what we're talking about, you can't generalize to every single situation that you would ever come across, especially with the horses. It's a thing in dog training called generalization, but it's less of a problem because, as you say, you're going to get to a competition and a horse is going to go over a fence. Or the only time I ever went to Croxted, I was trying to do dressage and there were those banners alongside the fence.
Right.
No, not doing it. Not doing it. Not that. I don't even think I got in the arena actually that day. Again, there is nothing. You can't produce a million different situations, and you shouldn't anyway.
No. Oh, funny old days, eh? Croxted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's still going in various different guises, I'm sure. When they had some lovely shows there. I used to like Croxted. Anyway, we digress. So yeah, what makes your horse stupid?
Oh, a million and one things that you hear people say. My horse won't go out the gate. My horse is stubborn. My horse is it's marish. Oh, there's another one. Very, very marish. And there's a what am I trying to say? There's a label that you can fix onto any horse for any situation, which completely exonerates the person sitting on the horse or the person on the floor and puts all the onus on the horse. It's the horse's fault because she's stupid or stubborn or marish, or it never ever touches the person on the floor or the person that's sitting on the horse. And why would that be, do we think?
Because people have no empathy anymore and no one cares. This is just like this is it. No one cares. Because they want to treat, because going back to your bag on the head, you wouldn't do that, and you wouldn't do that with your colleague, you wouldn't do that to your friend. You do that to you, I don't know, your pet, your dog, I don't know, maybe people would, I'm not sure, but I don't know about people anymore. It's hard work, isn't it? But you're trying to train your horse to be your colleague, from my mind.
Indeed.
That is creating it's a language which is like sports equipment. Yeah. Not that your cricket bat's ever going to be stupid or marish or whatever, but don't they always say a bad workman always plays his tools? Yeah. So there you go. That sort of makes sense, doesn't it?
It does.
All I'm going to say, one of the things that I hate the most about that kind of language is when people call their horse it.
Yeah.
That
just, to me, that shows, that is the height of ignorance
and disrespect.
Yeah, those two things, absolutely. It's one of those things that really winds me up. And the other thing kind of goes in the same thing. The horse is doing this, so the horse no longer has a name, probably isn't it, and has automatically got the blame because they won't go down that side of the arena, or they won't go to the fence, or they can't seem to grasp the idea of a leg yield, or whatever it is that they have got no ability to teach the horse to do anyway in the first place.
But it can't be their fault because they know everything, or because they're and it's I think it's so many misunderstood things, like, you know this, my horse, he's not in pain because the vet says so. Or you
pain because he was galloping about in the field earlier.
Yes, and actually there was one I saw, that was on a Facebook chat the other day, and that was harsh. That was really harsh. The poor horse, the gist of it was, the horse is really difficult when he's ridden, and he doesn't get turned out because he doesn't like going out in the field, and he's a very expensive competition horse, and he doesn't do it when he's being lunged, so therefore it can't be in pain. But it's like
excuses. They can make as many excuses as they like. They don't want to know, even if somebody showed them, they don't want to know, because it's inconvenient, it's expensive, they won't have a horse to compete on or ride, or it's inconvenient, isn't it? It's inconvenient if your horse doesn't behave how it should do, despite the fact that they're never the ones. They are not likely to teach the horse what they need to be doing in the first place. So the horse is completely in the dark about what they're supposed to do, or what's being asked of them.
I get quite the hump with people, and I'm this is it's not really a defend dealers, because it's not about that, but it's like, so suppose I'm a dealer and I'm producing horses to sell, and you ride lots of horses and you make them look very pretty, and you're experienced because you're doing this on lots of different horses, and you are pushing those horses beyond where they should be because you are selling them, and you've got to get your punters in and whatever, and I get that. What drives me then potty is when the person that buys that horse just went, well, they were jumping newcomers with X rider or whatever. X rider is a good rider and has done however many before, and now why can't I just, because I'm so good, why can't I just step in and where they were? And you're like, no, you're not in that caliber. It's start at the beginning. The horse is clearly capable because that person did it, but you need to build up that right the way through. That
experience that you need. It's a bit like me getting in somebody's Ferrari now and thinking I can drive it like I drive my. And this is a mechanical thing, isn't it? So it would eventually, I would be able to get in the car and just not think about what happens when I turn the engine on, and that's a mechanical thing that doesn't think, let alone something that thinks and feels and senses. And as we all know, those higher level horses become more sensitive. They don't become less sensitive, they become more sensitive. So you've only got to become a bit unbalanced or lean, if your riding is not very good and you lean a little bit to the right, or you have a heavy left hand, or a million other things, that will immediately affect the horse, a bit like the Ferrari, much more, on a much higher level.
Absolutely. But also, like, if you had to follow, I'd be terrified to buy a horse off of a Whitaker. When you get that, they have never been put on a wrong stride ever, and then you come in flailing around and don't hit the right stride. It's like, it was only going to take it so many times.
exactly, because they are.
Um,
I've ridden horses that have performed at high level dressage, but they're not ever going to do anything for an idiot.
mm,
They're so sensitive. So and the thing we didn't kind of think about earlier was the fact that the horses can shut down. They're going to go into learnt helplessness,
mm,
and they can easily shut down. So say
mm,
like they're not going to move.
mm, mm,
You've got the whichever extreme you get, the
mm,
rider is just not educated enough.
mm. And it's not there. I think when they act like that, it's always stupid or he's marish. He's marish. You know what I mean?
You know,
Um,
what comes with some of them.
it's yeah, it's just that complete and utter lack of. Oh, hang on, there could be a problem with my writing here.
Mm. Oh no 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 no! It would never be them. It wouldn't be their riding.
That there could be a problem with my maybe my spurs aren't big enough.
Yes, that's more likely.
Yeah, or maybe my bit's not big enough or something.
Would be much more likely to be that. Not
No, uh, it's the more you can change that and change the people that change it, just change it, having that empathy, isn't it? Having that, um, oh, maybe I've done something wrong, and maybe the horse has got something wrong with it, or maybe I've done something wrong, and then people. I have got one of my riders who's completely the opposite extreme, um, which is quite lovely, but also quite frustrating. Um, because she always says, "Oh, but she can't." I gave her the wrong. I gave her the wrong signals. I gave her the wrong signals. It's like, yeah, you probably did, but you have done that before, and she can do that before. And I think, yeah, she takes now that's going to make me sound like a really bad person, but I don't mean it quite like that. It's like, yes, you got it wrong, but you can still try again, and you can try and get it right rather than stop trying. I think that's what I'm saying. Don't stop trying just because you got it wrong, because you do send out also wrong messages, like confusing messages.
well, that's what communication is like, isn't it?
Mm,
And
mm,
the horses are really, really forgiving. So as long as you don't lose your temper and
yeah.
blame the horse for everything, they will take you on that journey where they learn together. Learning together, right, isn't it?
Regroup, ask again. Absolutely.
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
Have we had enough
Um,
ranting?
say that again.
Have we done enough ranting on this subject?
Oh, I think so. I think we've ranted enough.
Okay. So we're going to finish there, and we will be back for another chat at some point,
Yeah,
much sooner than the last one.
absolutely.
Bye, people.